and welcome to this video. Today we will solve the ever-standing question about how steep should the angle be that we put our clarinet into our mouth. What's the perfect angle to get the best possible sound with your clarinet? First, what we will do in this video will be to go through all the angles and pay attention to the sound. The second thing we will do in this video is we'll go through all the angles and pay attention to the articulation. And the third thing I will share with you is a secret that many people don't notice or are not aware of. So first of all, let's quickly speak about what most people do. What most people do is they get a clarinet, they put it into their mouth, and the first angle you put it into the mouth to is the same angle you're gonna keep for the next 5 years without ever questioning it if the sound or the articulation or precision in playing, the beauty of each tone, of each note can be improved. Which angle options do you have? Okay, so first of all, you can obviously play very to your body, a little bit like Richard Stolzmann style, a very old American clarinet player, if I'm not mistaken. So okay, so this is the first position you could in theory take. This is like Richard Stolzmann played a long time ago. Maybe he still plays like this, I don't know. But this is very close to your body. In this position, you can almost feel the clarinet touching the skin of your chin. Okay, so it's so close that you can feel the reed on the skin of your chin. Now, you can basically, from this position on, you can move upward, 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 and end up in a position where, for example, many jazz players play. Okay, so we can do this together. We'll try a couple different positions. We'll start with Richard Stolzmann, and then we go higher and higher and higher, and let's just see together what it will do to the sound. Okay, so let's start. First, same as before. I don't feel I have too much control. It's very static, quite static in sound, but it feels quite stable. So that's the cool thing. But I feel the sound is a little bit compressed, a little bit limited. So let's take it up a notch. So just a little bit higher. Yeah, not too bad. So here I feel the beauty of sound, like a good sound, a compact round sound like before, but with more nuances, with more roundness to the sound as well, and a little bit more breathing to the air. Not so static, but a little bit more flexible, round and warm. So let's take it up a notch together one more time. So here, I now noticed that the sound brightened up. It became a little bit more extroverted, a little bit more open, so less compact, less round, a little bit more outwards and a little bit more air, maybe also a little bit more nasal. And this is a very slight difference, yeah? feel it. And also the position it's a very slight change. So this is why we go through this together, because it's so important, and oftentimes we just forget to think about this all together. Okay, so basically now the last position is very high, almost 90-degree angle. Here we have many jazz players mainly that play this way. So let's test it out. So here I feel we are very, very far away from a classical, round, compact sound. Okay, so I feel we are a little bit, in the very free jazzy territory where you can, where you can have a lot of airiness in the sound and a lot of freedom with air, freedom with sound, where it's not too important to have this beauty of sound, but maybe you enjoy to have the freedom of the position. Maybe you also enjoy the airiness in the sound and would like to profit from this position. But as you saw, the changes in sound are so profound. Also, here, it becomes a little bit flat. So the intonation becomes a little bit out of control, yeah? Because I feel like the tongue drops a bit, and it just causes the intonation to go down into the rather flat range. And as some, like one of my old teachers used to say, better sharp than wrong. Okay, so if you're flat, it feels almost as if you're wrong from the intonation wise. Good, so now we tested the sound. Let's go quickly through the same thing and test for articulation. How does articulation change in these 4 positions, basically? So let's go back to Richard Stolzmann, close to the body. So I feel I don't have too much control in this position. I'm also not used to this position, but it feels very static. It feels like one kind of articulation rules it all, and that's it. So you can just either have sound or stop it, and there's not a lot of freedom to the articulation, I feel. But what it does is that the articulation comes very crispy. And this has to do, I don't know, actually I'm not 100% sure if this is the case, but the clarinet is anchored very, very well behind the upper teeth. We had it already in a previous video on this channel. So to anchor the clarinet behind the upper teeth, and then you don't put any pressure with your lower lip onto the reed, because you're actually going down behind the bottom lip almost in this position. Now let's go to the next position together. Excellent. So here I feel very, very comfortable. So not very steep, but the next one from here. Okay, so not too like at your body, but the next one from here, I feel very, very good with the articulation. And I'm 100% sure you will too. So this is almost like the sweet spot for the articulation, you could say. Let's move up. Here it becomes a little bit also distorted. So we had this very this roundness, and how it becomes a little bit fuzzy. So this has to do that we're more going from in front to the reed and more towards the tip of the reed, rather than if you're angled, you're just pressing onto the reed from a lower position. This is what I imagine the reason to be, but it becomes more fuzzy. The higher we go, the fuzzier the articulation. And now let's test the fourth one, very high, like jazz players. Yeah, not my preferred way, but it might work for jazz. You never know. But as you could see, my preferred way for the articulation was for sure not like this, but a little bit higher. Just a little bit higher from your body away is the sweet spot for the good, crispy and nice round articulation. Now we have to make one super important differentiation, okay? So the angle of your clarinet is not measured by where the bell points on the floor or where the bell points in the room. So the clarinet itself is not 100% responsible for the angle that you play in, okay? Let me explain. So your head position is equally responsible for the angle that you play in. So if your head is down, okay, you put your head down and your clarinet points comfortably down, like in the perfect position like before. Yeah. But now you put your head down and keep the clarinet in the same position. Now suddenly, actually in relation to your chin, we had the not preferred angle for clarinet playing. Because all we did was we put our head down, and this is exactly the problem with looking into scores all the time. Okay, so we put our head down to see the sheet music, and our angle becomes the unpreferred way of playing, the jazz angle. So therefore, be very, very careful. If you see someone playing, like sometimes me in concerts, I must admit, so very, very straight, very upward, head up, looking at the conductor, and clarinet high. My clarinet is still in the perfect angle in relation to the chin. Okay, so let's say this is my perfect angle. Now in a concert situation, I keep exactly this angle. So if I put my head up, it doesn't mean that my angle changed. The angle to the embouchure, the angle to the chin, the angle at the teeth, it stayed the same. So your head has the much bigger influence on a clarinet angle, your head position, yeah, because you can go from here until here. This is the entire difference you can do just with your head position alone. So we shouldn't measure the angle of the clarinet based on where in the room the bell points, but in relation to your chin and to your embouchure. So basically the easiest way to improve your angle is to be aware of both. To be aware that your head is upright and stable. And then to be aware that the clarinet goes into this preferred position in relation to the embouchure. Okay, so upright here, and then the preferred position. So the clarinet is actually not going down like this. So the clarinet is actually quite high, but we are still in the perfect relation to our embouchure. So that brings me basically already to the summary of this video, which is to solve the question, which is the best angle for clarinet playing? And it's exactly this. So it's the second one. So not Stolzmann, but a little bit higher. And then if you go even higher, it becomes too bright and distorted. So just keep this angle. And this angle will be correct in all of those positions, because the angle didn't change. Your head changed and you opened up your throat, but you didn't change the angle of the instrument. I hope you liked this video today. See you soon. Bye.